Now? Is it live now? Okay, so I welcome you all to the third live session, which is the last live session of this course. So here we'll try to address your queries, questions, doubts, and whatever. If you are facing any problem, any queries, any general understanding you want about the course. So this is course on personality and individual differences, theory and applications. So we are almost reaching at the end of this course. So I'll wait for some time so that if others are planning to join. So this is the last live session. So if you have anything to ask, to interact, please go ahead and do it. And so I think few people are joining now. If you have any questions, please you can ask. And I hope you have started preparing for the examination. So you can write your question in the YouTube chat, or in the team meeting also you can use the chat box and ask your question. So I'm hoping that at least you are understanding the concepts which are discussed in the class or in the lectures. So this course was designed with the aim to understand the different aspects of human personality. So when we talk about human personality, we are basically trying to understand the different aspects of human behavior or human beings in totality. Although no theory could explain every aspect of human behavior, so we have multiple theories. So if you look at this structure of this theory, this course actually talks about the concepts of different theories in the past few, like learning theories, psychoanalysis, cognitive theories, humanistic theories, and so on. So these are different ways of or perspectives to look at human behavior. They are not complete in themselves. They are one of the ways to explain human behavior. Now, all these aspects gives insight about certain dimensions of human behavior. And so this shows the complexity of human mind. And in the last few modules, we try to use some of these concepts, the theories, to apply so that we can apply them in the real life context. So the last few modules are about applications. So if you have any questions on this, we'll talk about that. Few questions were asked in the Q&A section of the portal. So I tried to answer most of these questions. However, one question was asked: what is the difference between generalized and specific expectancy? So I think so there was a question from someone. So when you talk about generalized expectancy, we are talking about broad general beliefs and expectations about how something works in world. So it can be applied to most of the situations in a larger sense of life rather than specific situations. So I gave an example like when you say hard work is the success, let's say, no. So you're talking about life. In every context, if you put hard work, you will get success. Specific expectancy is about when you talk about something very narrow and specific to the situation and tied to a particular situation, then it is called specific expectancy. Or if you have some expectations and believe about something very specific. So I gave an example there. Let's say if you think if you study 10 hours for a particular subject, then you will get an A grade. So it is only related to that subject. That may not work for other subject. So this is example of a specific expectancy. Another question was asked about what are the disadvantages of projective test. So personality test, there are different types of personality tests. Broadly, one of the tests and what to do when something is very vague and not clear, you will impose your ideas and unconscious desire on the picture itself. So you will explain using whatever is there within you. So that is the idea behind projective test. So in the projective test, people, these are not standardized assessment tools. They are very subjective and sometimes it could be very bad. So we will explain things and figures using whatever they think their unconscious mind projects on it. And they try to see some of the unconscious motivations. Now, the problem with this kind of test is that obviously they can give you some insights, but the problem is there is no standardized assessment method for this test. So interpretation of response may vary from, and how do you then interpret those response? It may differ from person to person. Even though people try to, develop some standardized interpretation process, still it actually did not work that way. So that is one of the disadvantages of projective test. Okay, so these are a few questions that are asked in the Q&A section. Few more questions are asked, but I have already responded to them. Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask, and I will wait for some few minutes. If I don't get any queries, I will stop here. This is the last live session, then we will not have any more live session. I hope you have prepared for the exam or started preparing for the examination. There will be multiple choice questions. Questions will be very similar to assignment questions. You will have 50 questions to attempt. Okay. So you can use this chat box to ask your questions, YouTube chat, or you can also use Teams chat if you have joined through Team. You don't have to speak to me, you can just write your question. Some of you have, it seems, joined here, but if you have any question, you can ask. Shubham Mishra is asking, hello sir, how to prepare for the exam? Should I rewatch the lectures again? What do you mean by rewatch? Means, I mean, when you watch here, means you try the concepts and there are lecture notes. So read those lecture lecture notes. All the concepts are hands of all the concepts are there in the lecture notes. If you don't understand any particular concept, then you can rewatch the lecture again to understand the concept. And if you still don't understand, then you can ask questions in the Q&A section of the portal. We'll try to address the question. So the best way to prepare exam is go through all the lecture notes, try to understand all the basic concepts like let's say psychoanalysis. So whatever concepts are there, conscious mind, unconscious mind, and what are the mechanisms, just understand the basic concept. You don't have to remember everything. Try to understand the concepts. And then you will be able to understand, because this will be like MCQ questions. If you know the concept, you'll be able to select right or appropriate option. So use both the lecture notes as video lectures. And try to try to understand the basic ideas behind all the theories. Questions will come from that. I think Shubham, is it clear? Okay, Shubham. So I think all the best. You prepare. Try to understand the concepts. I think you will get. No, it should not be a problem. So it seems no one else have any question. So if you have anything, you can ask. Otherwise, I will just stop here. Anything else you would like to ask? So read the concepts. If you still are not able to understand from the lecture notes, lecture videos, please ask, use the Q&A section. Shubham Mishra is asking, sir, I am very interested in unconscious mind. There is any book recommendation? There is no, you can, most of these books on personality will have detailed section on the psychoanalysis. So you don't go into this hardcore psychoanalysis textbook. You may not understand them. Start with those introductory books on personalities. Even any introduction books on psychology will have chapters on psychoanalysis. There you will have description of unconscious mind. Now this unconscious mind, one aspect is psychoanalytic personality theory. Another aspect is there is a cognitive psychology also talks about unconscious mind. But they talk mostly in terms of automatic processes. So many times we do things automatically. Let's say when you learn something, practice again and again, it becomes very unconscious. Then you don't have to pay attention. When you learn, let's say riding bicycle, you don't pay attention how to cycle the pedal or rotate the pedal and so on. It becomes very automatic. So there is a concept of unconscious processes in the cognitive field, which mostly talks in terms of automatic processes. And there is a concept of unconscious mind from the psychoanalysis perspective, which says there is a deeper layer of human mind which we are not aware of. So whatever content is there in the unconscious mind, we are not aware what is going on there, but it is influencing us all the time. Whatever the contents which we reject in the conscious mind, like something which is traumatic or feel full of guilt and so on, we don't want to process them. It goes into, we suppress them or repress them into unconscious mind. But they don't vanish from there. They remain there active and they influences our mood and emotions and so on. So sometimes, for example, you for no reasons you may feel depressed and your mood may be bad and so on. So psychoanalysis will say this content of unconscious mind is influencing you all the time. So start with some of these introductory books, introduction to psychology books or introduction to personality books. Some of the books I have already listed in the course syllabus. You start understanding more and more, then probably you can go into very specific psychoanalysis textbooks, but those will be more complex. So I would say start with introduction to psychology books or introduction to personality psychology books. And the names are listed in the, if you look at the syllabus, it is there. So you're asking id, ego, superego. You want a difference. What is the difference? So Sigmund Freud talks about id, ego, and superego in terms of three structures of personality. So he's talking about one part of personality is id. When we take birth, with birth, a child is full of id, only id part. Id part is very unconscious in a sense, and it only knows about pleasures and avoidance of pain. So if you look at a child, it knows nothing else. Only it wants whatever is gratifying, let's say food and so on. And if it gets pain, it will start crying. It doesn't know anything else. So that's the id part. Ego part develops somewhere around the age of 3, when the mind slowly becomes a little bit more differentiated, and the child starts to learn about realities of life. So it gets little bit connection with the reality. So it will look into realities. So should I behave like this? Is it appropriate or not? So on. So some reality concept comes into the picture, and it develops as we progress in our life. That's called ego principle. It is very much related to reality principle. Then comes superego, which develops slowly, starts around the age of 5. That moral aspects starts develop. You start learning what is right, wrong, good, bad, and so on. And it keeps refining throughout the processes. Now, our personality is a combination of these three aspects: id aspect, ego aspect, superego aspects. Now, typical characteristics of individuals may be determined by which one is dominant in that person. For example, if somebody is full of id aspect, id is very dominant and other part is not so dominant. So what is the characteristics of id? The person will only want pleasures and avoidance of pain. The person will not have much filters of connecting to reality and what is right and what is wrong. Those things would not be there. Let's say somebody is criminal. He doesn't care what other people are thinking. He doesn't care how other people are feeling. He can kill somebody and enjoy it. So that's a very typical characteristics of a person whose id is very dominant. Someone with ego dominant means the person will be very much in touch with reality. He's always see whether it is appropriate things to do or not. Is it in touch with is it appropriate to the reality in which I am living and so on. So very healthy and very kind of concerned with the reality and so on. Somebody who is very high developed superego and others are not so developed, then probably the person will become very moralistic. Maybe may express in terms of highly judgmental person, always thinks this is right, that is wrong, and so on. So like this, there can be different types of people develop out of different combination of this id, ego, and superego. So like this. Shubham is asking, sir, what is archetype? Archetype is a part concept discussed by one of the disciple of Freud, who is Carl Jung. Carl Jung was initially working with Sigmund Freud. Then he later departed from Sigmund Freud and developed his own theory called analytical psychology. There he talked about the concept of archetype. Archetypes are basically more like certain, it's a part of collective unconscious mind. So Sigmund Freud only talked about individual unconscious mind. Carl Jung talked about something called collective unconscious mind, which means somehow there is an memories of our collective existence as a species is also there in our unconscious, a deeper unconscious level of mind. So whatever human experiences we have gone through with the nature, with whatever, with traumas, troubles of collective unconscious, all these things are there. So it's more like biologically, you can think of more like genetic expression. Genetics are passed on from generation to generation. Similarly, archetype is more related to psychological aspects that are there within each of us, but this has memories of many past experiences of the species. and it expresses in terms of symbols. It may express in the dreams also, that sometimes we dreams which are see dreams which are related to collective humanity. It can also express in arts and culture. So we can see many movies and paintings which collectively clicks to us. So it comes out of it represents an archetype or a symbol of a collective unconscious mind. So this concept I have not discussed much here because Neo-Freudian I have not discussed much. But if you are interested, you can read Carl Jung's theory to understand more about archetypes. So I hope this is clear. Okay. Any more questions? You are saying this means collective unconscious is related to human evolution. Yeah, it has all the memories of human evolution. So basically, it's a storehouse of memories which are collectively experienced by people. So one thing is your individual mind, and your mind has a deeper layer which has memories of many past human experiences. For example, he gives an example of an archetype. Let's say, mother, child. So automatically, how when a child takes birth, no one has to teach a mother how to, how to emotionally connect to the child. Automatically, it comes out. From where this memory comes, it comes from the collective experiences of human being. It is there within the mother. When a child comes, a mother is also born. These memories are already there. So it just manifests when a child comes out. So when a child, takes birth. So like this, so this is all about a lot of these memories, which may have many aspects of human evolution also. So if you're interested, I have not discussed this thing in this particular course because Neo-Freudians, it may, then again, this will become too long in terms of this is not possible in this course because they have many diverse theories which may take more time. So I did not explain them much. So please read Carl Jung's theory. You will understand more about these concepts. Okay, so I think if you don't have any more questions, I'll stop here. Should I stop here or anything else? Okay, so thank you everyone. So for joining and wish you all the best for the exam. Maybe we'll meet in some other courses. Shubham is asking, sir, how can I get internship in IIT? Internship in IIT depends. You have to talk to the concerned faculty. If that person agrees, then there is a process. You can fill that, and mostly the concerned faculty has to agree. That is the general process. And I think mostly during the vacation time, internships are allowed, and so different department have different systems. So it's like that. Okay, so thank you everyone and wish you all the best for your exam.